Before we begin, thank you very much to Joseph T for rejoining the Patreon campaign over at patreon.com/TJOmega. I am about to kick off Season 2 and 3 of the Beast Wars episode reviews. Thank you very much to my kind and generous patrons for supporting that goal. And we are actually very close to the next goal, which would be Beast Machines. Before I get into that and have to rewatch that entire series, I will let you know I love you people very much. And I think going through Beast Machines as a thank you is proof of that. So, I haven't done a tier list in a while, and for whatever reason, packaging design was on my mind. Probably because I have been staring at the new Legacy packaging so much, and it is so very different from anything we've had in the past that, yeah. And also, I did that video about, like, the new packaging being, like, really, like, problematic. So I figured, yeah, let's look back at all the packaging and just see where it falls in my list of opinions. Now, I will say, if I did literally every variation of every Transformer packaging out there and included the ones from Japan, there'd be over 100 entries. We'd be here all day. I have kept it to North American packaging for the main lines. There's not a whole, there's no like super small lines like the special edition universe ones with like the black box. There's no masterpiece, and there's no variations. So like everything in the Prime War trilogy basically had the same style of packaging, just switched up colors and slight arrangements. But essentially, they're the same style and they're the same vibe. So we're gonna just cover all of that all in one. So keeping the variations out and sticking to just like primary examples of Transformer designs, we're left with just over 30 that we can go over, and I think that's a fair number here. Also, I'm going to try and give you guys some better visuals with a little handy-dandy thing in OBS for a slideshow. If I forget and this becomes off-timed, I apologize. This is the first time I'll be attempting this. But no, let's start off, and we're starting off with the Combiner War / Titans Return / Power of the Primes. So design-wise, I actually do enjoy the layout. I like the really big, bold character artwork. I do like having a picture of the vehicle mode. It's always weird to me in a Transformer package where you have a toy packed into the robot mode with big art of the robot mode, as if I'm not sure what character I'm looking at, and I need a second example right above the first example. But I do like at least including the jet mode. See, like when a toy is packed in vehicle or beast mode and you have that big robot art, I feel like that kind of like tells the viewer, hey, this is going to change into this. So if we're going to pack them in robot mode, at least I like having that vehicle mode packed. It does lose a notch for me because Combiner Wars had the comic book pack-in, and I never like how comic book pack-ins look. I feel like the art and layout becomes very samey, and you're looking at a comic book, not packaging. So I'd still like it though. I still like how they handle this one. I'm going to put it in premium for now, and then we will reevaluate it in a bit. Buzzworthy Bumblebee. This is a weird packaging because half the toys in this line are Bumblebee, but there's a lot of characters that are not Bumblebee. And it just seems like they're forcing Bumblebee as the lead. Everything Transformer is Bumblebee now, to the point where we're just packing repaints and in some cases just straight up reissues of figures in Bumblebee, because Bumblebee. This feels very much like a toy line designed to just get picked up as a exclusive, just to make a retailer happy. Oh, hey, it's Bumblebee. It's really Bumblebee. The design itself isn't bad. Like, the packaging itself actually looks pretty slick, I think. It's just like the Bumblebee love is a little bit heavy considering it's not always Bumblebee in the box. Retail release, I feel appropriate for now, so we can move on to that. Cyberverse. So, I was trying to avoid the darker, sharper color schemes of the collector lines, and I understand that. So it's very bright primary colors, Very light. I think it loses a little bit of energy because of that. Because it's like, it is, the colors just kind of blend very. This is like definitely, like, I feel like there's not a whole lot to debate here. It is very middle of the road. And what hurts it for me is like the fact that, hey, remember how I said like 2 visual examples of the robot mode is a little excessive? These had 3. These had 3: character art, toy, and then gimmick art. So I feel like this is a very redundant packaging, as well as one that's not terribly energetic. I'm moving it to bargain bin for now. Again, we'll reevaluate a lot of this as we go on. And then we move on to Generation 1. This is classic, of course. Now, the G1 packaging underwent a lot of variations over the years. We are judging just the first one. I do, admittedly, the year 3-4 packaging, where they started having, instead of that energy burst behind the character art, they started having like they colored in the grid. I always liked that look better. But for what this one is, this is nice. This is nice. I like how this looks a lot. I mean, part of it is nostalgia, but part of it is the fact that it's just a well-designed box, nice character art. Vehicle mode is present in the packaging, big bold logo. Yeah, always really like this. We go premium when reserving Holy Grail for a few specifics. We'll get to those. All right, so first edition Transformers Prime. I only included this because this was for a brief moment the only toy line Transformers Prime had before Prime RID came out. So I'm including it just because like this is like the limit of like how few examples there are and still get in. I do like the Voyager packaging. I think that one was a lot nicer than the deluxes ended up being. What's weird on the deluxes is it's so much space taken up. It's so much space taken up. The card and the bubble and all that is gigantic compared to the figure you are getting in the vehicle mode. That said, I do like the blue and the electric colors going on here. I really like this this lower third they got going on the bottom of the packaging. That looks really, really sharp and really nice. I like that one a lot. So I'm moving that up to premium. Moving on, we have Alternators, the first style packaging for Alternators. There is a red variation too. I will admit I like the red better than the blue. This is when they were trying to mimic the way that 1/24th scale die-cast cars are packed. So it's very reminiscent of that. It's not a bad style given what it was going for, but as a Transformer packaging style, I do think it's a little dull. It's a very flat, dark color. The character art's fine. It's not very energetic, and it's very, I don't know, just very bland. Very bland. The red version helps it a little bit. The red does definitely add a pop of color to it, and of course, a lot of packaging for Transformers is red with some form of grid detail in the back, some kind of reminiscence G1 design. This version goes into the bargain bin. I'm sorry, I just can't. It's just too dull. Even in the red, I still don't think I would move it beyond. It's just, there's not a whole lot going on. In contrast to how plain that was, Alternator version 2, I think, was one of the most unique packaging designs we ever got. This fishbowl box that barely had any box to it. It's basically a carded figure that's on its back, essentially. But this had a really unique way of showing off the vehicle as much as possible. You could see almost every side of it. You can't see it in this photo, but if you turn the box to the right, you'd see on the back side there's also a hole cut into it, so you can see the rear of the vehicle as well. It's literally, I've never seen a Transformer package design made specifically for showing off the vehicle as much as possible. I feel like this was made for mint-in-box collectors. And of course, it's taking a lot of cues from Cybertron packaging, so it's already winning a few more points for me. This is really unique. This is really unique. It's a bizarre style packaging, but I'm kind of into that in a weird way. I'm bumping that to premium just because it feels like they were trying for a premium product on that design. It's a weird packaging, but I think weird was good for Alternators at a time when the line was stagnating. Transformers Armada. This is, well, RID started the wide card, but this also added like big bubbles and big layouts. This one has so much going on in the packaging. You get mini cons placed, toy placed, the missile accessories as well. But you also had that Transformers Armada header on the packaging. You had the sticker card that came out of it. You had the mini comic packed in. You can, and with the instructions, you can see that rolled up there at the bottom. There's a ton of things that this packaging has to do, on top of just looking really complex. You do have that red grid going on in the background, but it gives way to a blue energy grid that's almost Spark-esque. Not quite, but it kind of gives that vibe. High energy packaging. Lots going on. And yeah, it's actually like a fascinating way of like showing off literally everything that the toy comes with, and all in its own little designated spots to create, artwork, big logo, etc. This is gonna sound really weird from me. This is gonna sound really weird from me, the guy who made his name bashing on Armada. I'm putting that in the Holy Grail section. I think Armada packaging was actually extremely nice and extremely interesting. It did a lot. It accomplished a lot. All right, so, okay. RID, the start of our wide box era. Again, we're back to the grid. We're back to the red with a burst of yellow and orange in the center. Yeah, and we have a vague grid line. That's a faded one here. No character art. Remember, RID was thrown together kind of last minute when TransTech got canceled, and they needed a filler line for a year or so until until what we knew was Armada was ready to go. As a result, there's no character art for most of this packaging. It's literally just a character, just a photo of the toy. It's not bad. It's not bad. Like I said, it is a take on the G1 design, but it is high energy. That is good. I like how it focuses in on the vehicle mode really well, and I don't think it doesn't have to do too much here. I mean, I don't mind so much. It's not fantastic, but it's definitely worth some note here. So I'm gonna go retail release right now. That's definitely one I want to think about again later on. All right, so Universe 2.0. This was this again. There's a little bit of the grid, a little bit going, but it's a very subdued element here. There's a lot more of like a metallic element to this. I like this insert that was like swooped all the way to the side of the package. I like the angle on the bubble as well. The character art in this one is the only thing that kind of like threw me a little bit, because like Cybertron had similar character art. There was just like a bust. It was just like from here up. But they tried to put some kind of energy into the poses, some kind of action poses going on the Cybertron packaging. Here, the packaging is the character art is just they're just standing there. They're just staring at the logo. So that loses some points, but overall I like the design. I think I'm somewhere around top of retail at the moment, because it's doing cool things, but it's not like, oh wow, that's like unique and special or like anything like that. Like I feel like this is like top of the middle of the road, if that makes any sense whatsoever. All right, next up we have Reveal the Shield, which is this is also like standing in for Hunt for the Decepticons and the original Generations line. So this is again what I mean by like it's still like an upper shot of the robot mode torso, but it's adding in some action poses to it. So good. This one had some interesting background designs. I do like the Reveal the Shield version the best since it has that pop of color behind the figure that stands out a little bit better than the other two lines, the other variations of this did. The yellow also stands out amongst Transformers. Yellow is a very rare color to see on Transformer packaging, or at least as like the main color. You know, again, with Generations, because it's Generations, they went with red. The yellow was supposed to be a movie-based line, but they snuck in G1 characters just because they could. Yeah, the packaging itself, I don't think is terribly special. Yeah, like the character art's fine, detailing is fine. It's just I don't think it's doing quite enough to wow me. I don't think there's quite enough pop to it. All right, so that puts it down here in the retail, and that puts it at the bottom of the retail release for now. All right, and now let's see. I almost mistook this for Cyberverse again. Like, did I put Cyberverse in here twice? No, I did not. I did not put Cyberverse in here twice. No, this is Transformers RID 2015. But you understand why I would mistake it. It is a very similar style of packaging. Again, we're keeping it like white and light blue tones. It's missing the yellow, which actually kind of makes the packaging even duller. It does have a picture of the vehicle mode on the front, which is fine. But this just doesn't. This doesn't like as it is. Cyberverse, I think, was already like a low energy packaging, not really like ooh, I gotta buy that kind of like look to it. Even less so for RID. Even less so for RID. Gonna go and drop that into the bargain bin now. And then we're going to move on to Beast Machines. This one is infamous. This one is absolutely infamous. So, if you hadn't known, Beast Machines, they had this brilliant idea of every packaging was going to have Cheetor screaming at you. Literally every packaging for the first year. And then the second year, it turned into Primal screaming at you. As you can see, he was on every deluxe. He was on every basic class. He was on every Mega class, literally every packaging, Cheetor. Every single one. On top of that, the character, even on their insert, does not get art of their own. The background is this wavy blue thing that I think is supposed to be Energon, some kind of like spirit energy like the Oracle. It looks more like someone's blue satin sheets got a photograph, was photographed for this. I never liked how this looked. I never liked this. The Cheetor thing was stupid, and then you go and throw a pretty like mundane background onto it. This is the first one to go into the flea market for me. It just never looked good to me. Never looked good. Battle of the Spark, a little bit better, but only slightly. All right, so moving on to another style of Generations packaging. This is the one we got for Fall of Cybertron and the various figures in that area. This is also similar to Thrilling 30. Again, big bold art, which I like. We're back to the G1 grid. I don't think it's used quite as well here because it gives way to this like white burst effect, and not like a blended in one either. It's just kind of there. Again, we have a picture of the vehicle mode. Plus, it's not bad. It's just dull. It's just dull in its own way. I think that boils down to the character art just kind of being against the grid and not really doing anything. There's nothing like there's no splash to it. There's no like flare behind it. There's no nothing. It's just kind of there. It just looks like a quick Photoshop job. All right, so yeah, nothing terribly interesting about that one. We move on. Bumblebee movie line. Now, this one, okay. This one, every packaging is going to have Bumblebee on it, but this actually kind of makes sense because, you know, it's Bumblebee's movie. He's the main character. Okay, fine. Bumblebee can be on every one of these packaging. Styling wise, it's fine. Again, it's a kind of a low energy packaging, a lot of bright blue and a lot of bright white. Bumblebee does look nice on the packaging art. Okay, that's fine. There is a little bit of a disconnect. We have the Autobot symbol in the background makes it a little bit weird considering we're looking at a Decepticon. This also kind of gets hurt because this was purely a gimmicky line. All of the like collector-based ones came out in Studio Series, so these were all over the place. I don't think it's particularly interesting. So, yeah. Down to the bargain bin you go. Transformers Beast Hunters. Another entry from Prime. This one, okay, again, it's all about one piece of art, so that already like takes it down. Now, when it gets worse when Predaking in season 3 feels tacked on, and if you listen to the ones who you listen to like the writers or producers, that is basically what happened. Like Hasbro just came down with a mandate. We're doing dragons. Just put a dragon in there. So this is again, it's not the best packaging art. It's not the best package design. It's anytime one character gets to dominate the packaging for the entire line, I'm gonna rebel against it. I don't think it's as dull looking as the Beast Machine style. But yeah, I'm not impressed by it. I'm just not. It hurts even more when you realize how little Predaking actually adds to season 3. All right, so now we're looking at Siege, which is also going to be standing in for Earthrise and Kingdom. Similar, because they all have the same art placement, they all have the same elements placed in the same spots. Change up color and stylings, but that's about it. Everything else is pretty much the same. This one I like. I do like this one. It is more of a modern packaging style. Hasbro has gone very heavy on toy packaging, where you can look on the side of the aisle, on the side of the rack, on the peg, and see all the characters that are lined up without having to like flip through all of them to see who's on the front. And that's nice. That saves you a lot of time. I specifically come into the toy aisle at Target now from the left side, so I can see the character art on the side and immediately know who they have. It does, and it just saves you a lot of time and frustration. The packaging itself does look nice. I like the heavy machine elements to it. And then of course, once we get into Kingdom, the heavy nature elements. I like the back. I like the colors on the insert as well. Like this purple grid, like this purple hex grid. I think it looks really, really nice. And all of them had some like nice pop to them to make the toy stand out more. I do like this one. I'm gonna put it in premium for now, just for now. We'll see where it goes from there. Yeah, moving on, Beast Wars. Okay, so Beast Wars I thought had really cool packaging. So it is stylized like the G1 packaging because it is red, but instead of a hex grid, we have scales, which I think is a genius switch for the theme. And instead of that energy burst, we have an eye taking up the shape of the bubble. I think this is fantastic. We had the same with Transmetals and Transmetal 2s, slight switch up with the more mechanical elements of those. And of course the rock bubbles are a whole other story. But focusing on this version of the packaging, I love how this looks. I think it looks really slick. Keep a small detail for those paying attention. There's a shade of color around the eye itself, and on the Maximals it's going to be green. It blends into the green eye very well. On the Predacons it's purple and it stands out. Very subtle difference between Predacon and Maximal packaging. I do really, really like Beast Wars. I really like the packaging style. Probably one reason why I'm collecting mint in box Beast Wars right now. So premium it goes. I quite enjoy that design. Oh boy. All right, so Age of Extinction. Oh boy. Okay, it felt like they were so confident that anything movie was going to sell that they just kind of phoned the packaging in on this one. Uh, the character art is fine. What designates it as a movie toy is just like the little logo in the corner, and it doesn't even have like the name of the movie on the logo. And then like this flat white and this flat red tracing around the bottom and the side is just boring. With no kind of like backsplash behind the toy, it doesn't really stand out very well. It's not like there's nothing making the toy pop from the packaging. This looks just, I don't know. This looks bad. This just looks bad to me. I hated how these were packaged. They just never looked good, and it just didn't look like they tried. Yep. Down to the flea market you go. Ugh. Dull. Waste my time. Late G1. So G1 had a bunch of different variations, especially later years where they're trying desperately to keep attention on the toy aisle. The slight variations in logo design and layouts, but mostly still red, still with the grid patterns, still with the chrome logo and all that. It was the last year of Transformers G1 where they started going heavy on a new design. The crossfade that doesn't look like chrome anymore. We have obviously the gold box with the striping around along the side. This just looks strange. This just looks strange, doesn't it? It's just the gold is just flat. Like I don't like how flat this looks. Now there is a very late 80s, early like 80s aesthetic to those like horizontal red lines on the black. But I don't like it. Just feels like it comes out of nowhere. It ends. It doesn't really like blend into the box. It's just kind of there. Yeah, the gold just, I don't know. I don't know. It just looks. I don't know how do I describe it. I mean it just looks bad. It just looks bad. I don't like how that looked. Do not like it. Generation 2. G2 style was again a little closer to G1 in that we're back to having this bright burst behind the character. Now it's more like fireworks or an explosion more than anything. And we are reusing a lot of G1 assets for the character art on the packaging here. What was weird here was these big giant clamshells that these toys came packed in. So toys that were originally in boxes were now hanging on the pegs. And massive packaging for what the toy actually was. So big space wasters on the toy aisle. It looks fine. It looks fine. I don't think it's looking like tremendously interesting. I think there's a little bit too much black, to be honest. It does flatten it out. It does make the logo and the character art pop. I will give it that. And the packaging had this unique thing where you could see all around on the toy because the bubble extended to the back of the packaging as well. So it did give you an interesting way of seeing all around the figure, even though it was still in the box. So I liked that aspect, but that's about it. Again, I feel like it's just there's just not enough going on to really like be an attention grabbing style. All right, moving on. We have proper thrilling 30 now. This one's kind of a mess. So it was based on the same style of packaging they did for Fall of Cybertron. The problem with that was that they wanted to use the same elements because it's still Generations packaging, but they had to fit in a big comic book pack in. But that meant a lot of the space had to get screwed around, and a lot of the packaging just had to get relegated to the top. So there really isn't much of the packaging left. Again, I'm not a fan of how the comic books made them look. I think it makes everything look a little bit too homogenized, too much the same. I'm just not a fan of how it looks. The other elements to it are fine. I mean, I do like the insert's fine. The layout of the toy is fine. This is like the early days of starting to add characters in robot mode instead of vehicle mode. But nothing terribly great. I'll put it down. I'll put it into retail, but it is below the previous version that I think highlighted the toy better and did some better with the character art. Legacy, right? So this one I've been talking about a lot lately, and it is very different. You can see all the different examples I have. There's no purple packaging for Transformers before this. And when I talk energy, this is what I mean. It is a very, very high energy package with a lot going on. Again, we have the character art on the side, unique angles. I like boxes with unique angular shapes. That immediately stands out to me. I do think the Legacy logo itself is a little bit overplayed, a little bit too stylized, but I do really, really like how this looks. And again, it's just super unique. So I'm putting top of premium. I'm not sure it's Holy Grail level. But top of premium works for me for now. Moving on. We just talked about Machine Wars packaging. So literally everything about Machine Wars packaging is bad. I mean, it's all ripped off elements from Beast Wars. Basically the exact same, just differently colored. The metal, like the diamond plate metal thing background doesn't work. The flat yellow burst doesn't work. The plain bubble, plain art. I'm being a little bit generous here because I'm using Hoist, who was one of only 2 that had unique artwork. The other being the repaint hubcap, which means technically he did not have unique artwork. So this is basically the only one with unique artwork in the entire toy line. And then when you realize just how many shortcuts were taken on this toy line with the packaging, and it's sloppy, it's lazy, it's dull, it's boring, it's going to the flea market. Might be the worst packaging of them all. Original movie. This was such a departure because it's very stark colors. The black being the black and the red just kind of hitting different. And then like that mechanical eye look, it is a little bit Beast Wars. And then that mechanical, like that metal swoosh from the insert from the bottom all the way up. I don't like having no artwork of the robot mode. That throws me off. Just having the head there, I don't think really clarifies quite well enough what I'm supposed to be getting. It's not a bad design. I actually do like how this looked. And for the time, it was like, wow. Like, it just like popped at you. I'm going to put it up to top of retail. Top of retail works for me. How about we move on to Revenge of the Fallen? So, again, I talk about having that nice pop of color behind there that makes the toy pop from the packaging. But I really like it when it blends into that, not just like a static, stark color or, something that makes sense. Like the Beast Wars eye makes sense for the packaging design. This is just like something vaguely Egyptian hieroglyphic-y behind, slapped into the middle of a bunch of red mechanical detail. The overall design is fine. Again, we have just a profile picture. We just have like one headshot of the character. Yeah, it's about same. I'm still in the retail level thought for this, but it's definitely lower. Yeah, I want to put it quite a bit. Yeah, I want to put it quite a bit lower, honestly. All right, so, and then hey, we'll just get the movie all rolled up in one, all at once. How about just getting all the movie ones out of the way now? All right, Dark of the Moon. Dark of the Moon still doing the same thing. So movie packaging was just like dead set on we're going to have that one character headshot, and then we're going to have that logo in the other corner, and then big movie logo up top. Now this is fine. Like I actually do like this better because using the planet Earth to make the toy pop off the packaging, that is actually a little bit more clever than just vaguely Egyptian background. And it's definitely another unique look for Transformers. Nothing terribly special here. Like the planet Earth works as intended, but I also think it's just a shot of the planet Earth with the moon in the background. It's not the most original thing. Yeah, I'm gonna put it again in retail. We're gonna mix it somewhere in the middle there. I think that's about where it goes. So Prime RID. So this is one of those first lines where the packaging started to shrink down a little bit, and they started to be a little bit more attentive to how everything was used. The bubbles on these were much smaller than previous, but that means most of them didn't really waste any space. You know, they looked more appropriate for what they were. I do really like how they handled the color pop here. The lightning coming down, dark on the bottom with this big, like the red energy lines going with the lightning strike right there behind the figure. And then it's like a diagonal section, and then everything on top gives way to the robot mode art, which is really nice on these packaging, and then the bright white header. So this is, again, hitting a lot of my sweet spots. Great character art, really high energy packaging, nice design on the insert. This hits a lot for me. This, I think, goes up to Holy Grail. I love how that packaging looks. Titanium. You're going to hate me. You're going to hate me. This is when I have to give the devil his due. The one thing Titanium did really well was the packaging. It is character-oriented, collector-minded, because it is designed to have a lot of room to see the toy. It's already displayed in the box on its display stand, so you don't have to worry about that. So everything in the packaging looks right. What makes it so good, what makes the packaging special, is the fact that every Titanium had a custom box with custom colors and custom designs based on the character in the box. Every one was designed for the character that was inside it. That does make it exceptionally special. Titanium had a ton of duds, ton of bad toys, but if you wanted your favorite one, if you actually had a character in Titanium that you really liked, the packaging did not let you down, and that was great for MISB. So you know what? Yeah, one of the worst Transformer toy lines ever, but give it credit, the packaging is extremely nice. All right, The Last Night. So the movie line finally broke its theme, but I'm not necessarily sure it broke it in a really nice way. The character art is better. The insert's almost non-existent now. We're into a box shape now, and they're all Premier Series. Every one in that line was Premier Series, no matter when it came out. You know, if it came out a year after the movie was released, it was still Premier. It was just like it's a buzzword to make it sound special. It wasn't. It's just a box. It's just it's a normal release. There's nothing unique about it. I know this one is just. This is again. It's not terribly dull, but it is on the dull side. You know. Yeah. It just feels like there's not a lot going on. You know, just straight logo down the side. A little tiny like that. I don't know why that little bit of red is overhanging. It just seems like it's just doing so little. Like, what's the point? Yeah. Down to the bargain bin you go. All right. Studio Series. I give Studio Series a lot of credit for going as long as it has without ever really having to reinvent the wheel. They've been able to stay a successful Transformer toy line longer than most. You imagine how long Studio Series has been going on now without any major rebranding, no major repackaging style, no anything. Like, it's been chugging along just fine, and it's still going. And, you know, Hasbro's doing this, like, cleaner, less plastic, less waste kind of packaging now. It changes the look a little bit, but overall, it still looks exactly like this. It is very like collector minded, with, you know, similar to Star Wars Black Series and Marvel Legends, where it is black packaging, sharp logos, very, you know, good character art on the front, numbering really important to collector lines these days. It's fine. I don't think it's terribly interesting, but for what it's going for, yeah. It's fine. Transformers Animated. Hoo boy. So, You want to talk unique shapes and designs. This like the bubble on the card and figures was so weird. And then the boxes for the Voyagers were like all kinds of different shapes. Like it was crazy. It's like the weirdest boxes I've ever seen for Transformers. Sticking to primary colors here, lots of bright red, bright blue, really strong colors for a cartoon-based toy line that's very cartoony in its nature. Good character art as well. So all my elements are being hit here. I really like the lower third as well. The insert's going really hard on the primary colors, but it's also trying to put some unique shapes into it that I think really stand out well. So this one goes really high. No, I'm debating. You know what? Hang on. Let me like my one. Yeah, my one caveat would probably be like, there's no like splash behind the character, but it's pretty bright behind it, so I don't think it really necessarily needs it. Yeah, I think I like it that much. Just for how unique it is, for how much it stands out. Classics. Okay, so again, high energy, nice use of metallic elements. I love the metal edge around the entire piece. Always looked really, really good. This G1 inspired because, again, we're dealing with red with splashes of yellow and orange in the back. And this Nova effect, this like massive like space explosion thing we've got going on. I think like it hits different. It just looks really sharp. Now, this was again meant to be a short line, just a stand-in until the movie toys were ready. Give you some product between Cybertron and movie. So there's no character art for this line either. That does hurt it a little bit, but it is a super nice style of packaging. I even like this little flip-up thing it did, where you flip the thing up and see the robot mode. So you get that, you get a little thing that showed you like this thing transforms. I do wish, even if it was just a picture of the toy, I wish there was some better representation of the robot mode and the character you were getting. I still want to place it really high though. I don't think it's quite. I don't think I can put it at Holy Grail, but I think I can put it at. I think I can put it at the top of Premium. I think that's fair. That's fair, right? Okay, yeah, we'll say that's fair. Okay, moving on, Universe 1.0. This was again trying to be a little bit G1-y with the orange burst behind it. It's a little bit downplayed by some of the packaging with, like a mini comic behind it. So it kind of undid like the whole highlight the toy thing that package styles like this were supposed to do. It's reusing a lot of elements. The Transformers Universe logo, of course, was a take on all of the Transformer logos of the time. Armada, Energon, Cybertron all had a variation of this. It stemmed from RID. But this also uses an insert that is very akin to what Energon was using. So, not the best. It does have character art on it. So, okay, fair play to that. That's a little bit better. Again, not terribly interesting, I think. And again, like those pack-in miscues, I think take away from the overall impact that packaging could have had. I think he goes somewhere in the middle of retail. I think that's fair to do. Speaking of Energon, so again, it's similar to Armada in that it is a wide box version. We switched out we switched out the sticker for an actual character card that comes packed on the side of the bubble, and this way the backing card itself gets to have really big, bold art of the character that looks really, really nice. Very anime aesthetic, which goes with the fact it was an anime at the time. And then the burst effect is unique here too. We do have a dark grid behind the character's art, and then this like really big burst grid, or not even a grid, just like big energy burst behind the toy itself. Looks cool. I do wish it blended again. I wish it blended a little bit better, but beyond that, it's fine. The Energon battle version is a red packaging, so it does look quite a bit different, but not. It's still just a color variation, so we left it off the list. This has never been like terribly high on my priority list here. I think again it should go somewhere in the retail. I do like it better than like Universe. And I like it better than like the G1 alike style packaging, because it is trying to do something a little bit different. It's just trying to go for different color tones and a different splash. We'll go with that. And last on the list, Transformer Cybertron. This should come as no surprise to absolutely anyone. I love Cybertron's packaging so much. Using the Decepticon and Autobot logos as the splash behind the toy, perfect, brilliant. I love how I love the bright, bold color for the backing of the art. The white trim works. It blends into the insert. The packaging design itself is like crazy shapes. Like, to the point where even, like, the top, you'll notice the top of the box here has the 2 points on the sides. On an Autobot packaging, it's round on top because it's mimicking the Autobot and Decepticon logo. So even the shape of the cards was custom made for the different characters that it was packed on. I loved that. Even the Cyber Key gets its own special little spot. This, I think, is just, like, this was so good. This looks so nice. Not a surprise that I'm moving it all the way to the top of the Holy Grail list. Whew. Alright, that took way longer than I thought it would. Thank you guys for sticking around this long. And I apologize if I've forgotten any. Or if one of the ones I intentionally left out you thought should have been on the list. This is just me going over all the major ones I could remember, and just giving some of my opinions on what makes for good Transformer packaging and what does not. So overall, I like unique styles and shapes outside of just standard bubbles. I like, I like high energy styles with like a nice blend between artwork and character and the background design. And overall, I think I mean, I feel like this is nice and consistent with what I think works and what does not. So, tell me in the comments below which ones I was horribly wrong about. Tell me about your favorite packaging design, or if you're even interested in this. I have no idea if even anyone cares about my opinion on Transformer boxes. But hey, I figured it was a nice thing to do a tier list for, so let's see if it works. And let's see if anyone's actually still watching at this point. Thank you guys for sticking around for a super long video. Hope to see you next time. Maybe next time I do a tier list, I'll be far quicker. Let's pick next time. I'll go with something that doesn't have so many elements to recap. Guys, I am facing the most powerful enemy any YouTuber can face, the algorithm, and I need your help to defeat him. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and leave a comment. Every time you do, we attack that algorithm and we drive it back until it can no longer defeat this channel. Thank you very much.